10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, everybody. I'm Amanda with DevExpress, and I am here with Don Wibier, Technical Evangelist with DevExpress. Don, how are you doing?
I'm very good. Very good. You?
I'm doing good. I did want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know where everyone is. If you want to let us know where you are in the world, if you're in the chat, pop it in there and I'll check it out later.
Yeah.
I know I have to turn like this to see the chat. All right, Don. So, what are we presenting? What are you showing us today?
I thought for today, last time we have been implementing our invoice management.
Right.
So we were able to edit and delete and insert invoices. It's right on the screen where we left, basically. I thought it might be cool to create the actual invoice in the form of a PDF, and that we can do that with DevExpress reporting for Blazor.
Okay.
So, yeah, I thought that was a plan. Um, I did make a couple of minor changes, but I'll explain what I did after we ended the stream. So here. This is what we did. In this case, there is somebody who didn't order anything. Well, that couldn't be right. But as you can see, I made the pop-up screen is a bit bigger, and I changed the track ID to a proper name. So this is what I added after we ended last time, and the reason why I prepared this already is that we want to use this in the PDF as well.
Got it.
So. Yeah, and it was not really that difficult. Let me show you how I managed to get that pop-up bigger, because that was quite small and stuff didn't really fit in nice. So yeah, what I did, I added in the CSS, I added one little CSS selector here, which is the pop-up edit form wide with a minimum width of, in this case, 1024 pixels. You could make it bigger or smaller, whatever suits your needs. And then what I did next in the Blazor, now in the browse and edit control that we built quite some time ago, I added a couple of properties, and let me see, where did I put that? This is the old stuff. Yeah, here we have it. Yeah, so I added to the DX grid, I have used the pop-up edit form CSS class. That's a property that comes with the DevExpress data grid, and it allows us to put a selector, a CSS selector, on the div containing the pop-up. And for that, I have added a property all the way down, which is right here. So now we can actually specify that edit form class, and we can make it a bit bigger. So that's one thing that I did. The other thing, that was the full track name, including the artist and the album. Well, that was quite easy to set up as well. In the invoice model class. Yeah, it was in the invoice model class. I have added a property of type string with track name. And the second thing I've done in the mapping profile, which does the translation from entity framework models into the DTO models. So that is here. I'll make sure to fill that up with the appropriate fields. So I'm getting the track name, and then the track.album.title, and then the artist name as well. So that's what I've done. And now, yeah, we're gonna create a. What I want to do is I'm gonna put in an extra column in the grid, which will open up a pop-up, which will display our reporting viewer, and that will allow us to view the actual PDF. So let's start with that. For that, I will go to the invoices.razor file, and here I can just add a column. And this will be a data column. In fact, I can just copy over one of these and make a small change here. In this case, this will point to the invoice ID. The caption can be empty. And there will be no display format. And now I can use the cell display template, and there what we'll do is we'll insert a button, and that button is going to be something like DX button, text PDF, and on the click event we need to do something. So here what I'll do, I will use the following construction. It's going to be an asynchronous event because we all need to load the PDF and we need to show it in the pop-up. I'm going to call a method here, and in this case I will get the ID. This is going to be capital, I think, and it's going to be needing one of those, and this is going to be awaited. That was the whole idea. The submit behavior can be set to false. And then there is one quote too much. So now I need to create that preview report, and from the report preview we can actually print it or get a PDF or export it to whatever we like. So here I will do that preview thing. Let me see. All right, so here we get the invoice ID, and now we will need to get that model. And yeah, there are a couple of ways that you can bind a report to data, at least the DevExpress reports. The most convenient way that I would like to use is by using a model, like an object, which is bound to the report. And we could use the invoice model for it. On a production environment, I would probably do something like a dedicated print model, which will include more data or stuff that you want to bind to it. But for this purpose, it will be just fine. So what we can now do is just get that model, and I'm gonna use the invoice store, and that wasn't injected yet. So let's do that. I'm gonna inject AI data store int invoice model. And we can now use the invoice store, get by key, invoice ID. I think that method is actually not available, so we can just remove that here. So now I have the invoice that we wanna process, but what we also need is we need to get those items. So what we can do is we can now await the edit action. You see, because this is exactly what we need. We need to have those items. So I can just pass in the model. And why is it complaining? Oh, it's also not available. But still, okay. Yeah. So now we have the model loaded in and we have the invoice lines as well. And now we can create a report, and I will first start with an empty report. So here, this is typically how it works, but we're going to change that a bit. Extra reports. We'll probably need to include some namespaces and maybe even some packages here. So let's just see what needs to be done. Yeah. I will need to add some packages to the application. Make sure it finds all. So let's see what we actually need. We need the reporting.core. Which is this one. Oh, and since I'm dealing with a beta release that we currently have, I will need to get that one as well before it will complain about versions. And the other thing that we'll need is the reporting viewer. Yeah, this will return a number of issues here. Blazor reporting dot viewer. All right, so with these in place, I should be able to resolve this, I guess. Yeah. And now we can say report.data source is new list invoice model. So I'm binding a list of invoices to this report, but in this case, I will just add one, which is the model that we just found. You could actually also make like a selection in the data grid and get like a list of selected items, and you can pass them in and you will get like one PDF which has all the reports, if that's what you want. But we just want to have one. And another thing that you can do, which is desirable, I would say, is to apply localization. And so in this case, we are dealing with the US dates and times, etc. So this is something which is quite convenient as well. And this is typically what is necessary to have a report processed. But now we need to have that in the viewer, and for that we need a couple of other things. So let's first get over and put in a pop-up control. And the pop-up control is quite an easy to use control. The way that it works, it has a header text, and I will call this invoice. We could even make that variable. I'm going to give it a width of, let's say, 1200 pixels. I'm going to give it a height of 900. And I want to make its content scrollable. So the way that we can show or hide this pop-up is by binding it to a Boolean variable. And let's put that in. And this is how we're going to use this pop-up visible. Well, for this to work, we should have a bool pop-up visible. And it's defaulted to false, so that's all fine. And why? Oh, this was the header text that I wanted to do. All right, and there is one other thing that I want to do, and that there is an event on the pop-up as well that will be executed once the pop-up is shown, and that I'm going to code as well, pop-up shown. Because what I basically want to do is that once I show the pop-up, then it should initiate the report viewer, etc., and should make sure, yeah, that should make things happen basically. And that pop-up shown, what will that do? That will typically initialize the viewer. So the pop-up shown has a number of, has one argument. Let's move down. And we'll open, or we'll initialize the report viewer. And the report viewer will place that, well, for the report viewer, we have a number of options. So let's have a quick check at the website, at our demo site. Demos.devexpress.com. So if I go to the demo site and we go to the reports, what we'll see is we have a native viewer and we have a GS-based viewer. I mean, in essence, the GS-based viewer is having the same features as the native one, except that you need to initialize a bit more. And if you want to run the same design of viewer on different platforms, yeah, then the JavaScript-based one might be more convenient for you. And so for us, yeah, it does not really matter which one we pick. So, but the way that it works is that we will now put in a DX report viewer. Which will have a root CSS class, a width of 100 and a height of 100%. And I'm going to reference this instance to a variable because we'll need to do a couple of things every now and then. So I'll put that in. And the last thing is I'm going to say a single page preview is true. So the viewer, that's going to be a DX report viewer. Like this. And the other thing that we need is we need an extra report, which is the actual report that we're dealing with. And now with this in place, we can go back to the code here to initialize that report viewer. And there is also one thing I will need to do there as well. So here, I'll say viewer dot open a report async report. So this is, and this is going to be awaitable. And before this actually works, we need to assign the report that we just initialized in the method above. Report is report. And with that, we can also say pop-up visible is true. So now we have set up a couple of things. We need to do a bit more, but what we do here in essence is that
Oh, Don? Oh, we just lost Don. I'm assuming, yeah, there I am. Well, I thought maybe he'd frozen. He was in the middle of a thought, but he's actually gone. He's back. He's back. He's coming in. Don,
yeah,
you disappeared.
I saw you guys disappear, but I'm still here.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I thought you'd Oh,
Oh
did
my
we
God.
get
Are we being
hacked?
hit by Santa Claus?
No, you were mid thought, and then it was just me all alone,
Oh my God.
shivering in the cold.
But we're back.
But we're back. Okay.
We're
So
back.
were you still talking, or can you rewind?
Yeah, I was just going on. Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, he bailed on us in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know where I got off, but
Um,
yeah, I was still talking about the reporting stuff. I was going over this stuff. So
yeah.
we're as soon as you click one of those buttons, this method is being called. It will make sure that the invoice model is there with all the invoice items and stuff, and everything is in there. And I'm gonna initialize a new report. We're gonna change this because this is gonna be like our own report, which I will set up any minute. And then we'll bind some data to it. We'll set the localization because you guys are not on the metric system, so you want to have like,
Oh,
what can I say?
Americans, am I right?
Hey, you're saying it.
I know.
Anyway, yeah, I'm kidding. Um,
Oh yeah. What are your thoughts on WebAssembly, Don? Not to just
yeah, I mean, WebAssembly is great. I do have to say that we have a native WebAssembly report viewer as well, but I'm not using that right now. The reason for that is that you need to consider whether you want that, because if you want to have this report, it needs to be rendered. In this case, on the client, you need to load in fonts and a whole bunch of stuff, and it's a bit of work to get that going. So what I have done is I have moved the invoice control back to the Chinook. Let me zoom in a bit. So what I've done, I have moved the invoices.razor back to the server portion of the application, so I can use the report viewer, the Blazor server report viewer. It is easier to initialize. You have to do stuff on the server anyway for it. So yeah, it doesn't have a lot of, it doesn't make a lot of difference to do it in WebAssembly, except for the amount of extra work.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, this application is using both technologies. It uses now Blazor Server as well as Blazor WebAssembly, because what you can see here as well, and that is obviously really cool with Blazor 8. We have a number of pages here that will just run in WebAssembly. You see, all this stuff is WebAssembly based.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the thing with WebAssembly. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna create our own model, and before I will do that, I will need to check one thing, because I want to have access to the customer as well. So let me see if I go to the invoice model, which is right here. Yeah, so the invoice model right now only has a customer name, but maybe I want to have some more information. So what I'll do is I'll add a customer model. So we'll have full access, at least in the print model. I'm not going to fetch all the information for this customer. Well, we could actually, but yeah, so I'm going to add this property, and you'll see in a minute why I'm adding that.
Okay.
And now I need to go back to the invoices and inject that customer store as well. I'll show you in a minute why. Data store, integer customer model, customer store, like this. And I need to go here and model dot customer is customer store get by key. What was that? Customer ID, I think. Yeah. All right. So now we have everything loaded. But yeah, particularly for the report. So yeah, the report itself. The most easy way of doing so is by adding a folder. Well, not really necessary, but if you're dealing with a lot of reports, you might want to do this. And in this case, I'll add a new item. And it's going to be this one. Because right now you'll get one of the templates, which is the DevExpress report. Once it loads up. Yeah, this one. You see? So I'm going to select this and I'll call it invoice report. And yeah, for all of you who are now seeing our reporting tools for the first time, what is really cool in a sec, inside Visual Studio, a report designer will show up, as you can see, and this is quite nice. I'm gonna create a new blank report, and this can take a small amount of time. Sometimes this happens.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why it happens, but in most cases, um, I'm gonna rebuild this one, and then the problem is solved. I'm not sure, but you can imagine that we do quite a bunch of stuff inside Visual Studio here, because everything that you see is DevExpress panels and windows and designers and stuff. So
Right, right.
we do a couple of things that might piss off Visual Studio every now and then. You never know.
You're making Visual Studio angry.
Oh yeah, we know how to do that. So yeah, typically what we see here is our design service. And yeah, we can now start designing our report. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go to my report explorer here. Is this, can you see this, Amanda, or is it a bit on the small side?
It's a little small. Can you zoom?
Yeah, that is a bit of a thing, but
Oh,
I don't know how to make it bigger. But anyway, there is a little thing with data sources here, and I'm gonna add a data source. Yeah, this was the problem that I was expecting. I do have to restart Visual Studio for this. That had something to do with that error message that we saw before.
right.
So let's quickly do that. We're back.
My wait
Yeah,
music.
yeah, no more questions in the meantime.
Oh, is this the DevExpress reporter? We did have a question.
Yes, yes, it is. And this design, this report designer, we also have this available for the end user. So you can embed this in your own application as well, whether it is for desktop or web or whatever. We have this designer as well as the viewer for to include in your application as well, which is what we're gonna do.
Um, they say, looks really good. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Well, I'll wait a bit more.
What's that Lego behind you, Don? While we're
Oh yeah,
waiting.
this is my Christmas thingy. This is my Christmas X-wing. I
A
can actually
Christmas
show it.
X-Wing.
Yeah, this is a special edition Star Wars X-wing. I'll show it to you. But as you can see,
Are those
it
candy
doesn't have
canes instead of rockets or launchers?
exactly. These are the candy can. You see it? So they start all the way here. So if I get out the pilot, let me get out the pilot. I'm sure you can see it, but you see the beard?
He's got a little beard. Oh.
Yeah, this is Santa Claus in an X-wing. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, I saw it coming by, and I just had to have it. Yeah, so I'm all in the Christmas mood. So, what about you? Do you have your
Oh yeah, I've got my
coffee
80s Christmas
already,
mug.
or just a coffee mug? Oh,
It's
you
a
have a
coffee
coffee
mug.
mug.
Yeah. Well, you can't see me though. They
Yeah.
can't see me, but I'm drinking out of an 80s Santa coffee mug.
That is really
I'll show it at the end.
it's really old school, or as my daughters say, Dad, you're not old school. You're just old crap. But yeah.
Old crap. God, that's so harsh. Uh, oh, I guess I'm on now. This is my 80s coffee mug. This mug is probably full of lead, to be honest. When did they start removing lead from
Yeah, the paint as
ceramic
well,
ware?
probably. Hey, this is.
Mmm, tastes delicious.
I think I'm gonna see if I can open it up again because it wasn't doing anything. It's starting
Oh,
again.
sorry, Don. So we have a question that I think is very important.
Yeah.
Just wondering, the jacked up pic of Don on his GitHub profile carrying an alligator, is that real?
I was real, so was the alligator.
Okay.
More or
So
less.
that was kind of a
I can't make
shady
any
answer.
comment on that before I get like animal police or whatever on my.
I got it. I got it.
I can't.
Okay. So
Yeah,
allegedly,
days.
allegedly real.
Okay,
You
so
neither confirm nor deny.
I can't make any. I got another question here. What happens to the muscles? They're still here, but they're covered.
They're covered.
Yeah. Okay, so why is this? Something was. Oh yeah,
Are we back?
yeah. I hope. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna try it again because I wanted to add a data source to this. This is annoying. Let me see if I can do it on another piece in the application. I've been in touch with the team about this, but this is yeah, sometimes it's giving these errors. Let's do another reports. I'm not putting it in the chinook.data project. I mean, it's not really a big deal. Add a new item. And I will put in this one invoice reports. I'm going to do another blank one, and once that's finished, I'll remove the other one. Where did I put this? Okay, I'll remove this altogether. Let's see if we can do it in another way. So here I can select a data source which I want to add. Oh, my Visual Studio went all the way down. This could also be because we're still using the beta version of our DevExpress package. Let's see if this now works.
Let's see. Let's see.
Let's clean the project and rebuild it. Right here.
What are all those?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oops. Yeah, that has probably something to do with the fact that the it should be included. The package for the reporting is not referenced in this project. So
Okay.
I guess what we'll need is this one. I'll put it in manually. That was because Visual Studio crashed for some reason. I have no idea why. But probably when we use this and rebuild it, should be okay. Yeah, this looks better. Let's do this. Yeah, this looks great. And now hopefully we can open the report. Okay. You.
Woo.
I think it's gonna work now. Yes. Okay.
Well done, Don.
The Report Explorer. I'm gonna add a data source. And now you can use various ways. Yeah, you can bind, as you can see, several data sources, different kinds of data sources to the report. But in our case, I want to bind it to an object. I find that the most versatile approach. But I mean, if you already have something set up in a database and you want to connect directly to the database, you can pick pretty much everything that you see here. So that's quite a bunch. But in our case, I'm going to go for the object. And what will happen now is it will check the assembly, in this case, where the project is in, and it will find my models. And I want to be dealing with the invoice model. So I'm going to bind this invoice model to this report. I do not want to select a member, but I want to bind it to the entire object. And I want to retrieve the data source schema. So what happens now, if you check out this field list, all the fields that we have are already here available, but also the customer that I just added. So we have all the customer details.
Nice.
And we have the invoice lines. And these are obviously the DTO models, so not the EF models. And yeah, what we can do now is I can add a band. So let me insert a page header band. And what we also have, I need to fumble a bit around with all the panes. Well, we could stack them or whatever. But I want to go to the toolbox in this case, and I'll put in a label. Let me see, where is that thing? Here's a label. We could put in an image as well, like with a company name, Chinook, yada yada music store, Chinook. And I'm gonna make this a bit bigger. And so I can now go to the properties, which should be here as well. Change the size. Fit bounds to text. And well, we can put in a whole bunch of stuff. And the design experience is quite amazing. I mean, you can align items all together and you can do a lot of crazy things with the designer, but we'll keep it simple for now. In the detail band, that's giving us the possibility to put in the the header information, like the company name or the customer name, that sort of stuff. So
Got it.
what I do in a lot of scenarios is just add in a table, remove a couple of cells here, and add a number of rows, a row below, and now I can drag the company name. Where was that? Here. I can drag it right in here. First name. Or I could actually do the full name. And then we'll have the address, which is typically first this one. And then we'll do the, what is it? The city. I could actually format it a bit more powerful by going to the expression here and do something like this. So this is the equivalent of what we all know from C#. This is customer dot postal code. Dot state.
Don, is there any way to zoom into that? It's, at least for me, it's a little small.
Oh yeah, let's see if we can do that. So yeah, so I've now used the format string, and this first thing, yeah, for all C# developers, this is quite straightforward. This combination will be replaced with the customer city, and then the one will be replaced with the postal code, and the other one will be replaced with the state. So we have that on one end. And then, well, we can put in the country as well. Like
Why
this.
not?
Yeah. Well, it could be that it is like a company that ordered something, or it's just like a private person. So what we can also do here is, if I would go to this table cell, we can see that above, I can select that row. So this is the row containing that cell, and I can now tell this row that this should only be visible if the company name, wait a sec, let me copy that over. So this was bound to the company. I'm going to be selecting that cell again, or that row again, and I can now say it should only be visible when this thing is not empty. So if this happens to be a private person, that top row will disappear and the rest of the table will shift up with one row. And if it is a company that ordered something, it will display that company thing as well.
Cool.
So, well, we can put in a whole bunch of other stuff. As you can see, you can just drag it in. It's quite easy. So the invoice date, you should put a date in front of it. This will obviously be set correctly because we set that localization somewhere in code. So it will be, in this case, in the US date format.
Right.
And now we want to display the items. So we can do that as well by inserting a detail Hey, something is missing here. I noticed that before. Let me see. Yeah, that report was not bound to my object data source. Because if I will now add a detail report, it will give me the invoice lines. And what is quite cool, I can actually zoom that in a bit. I have now made it slightly bigger. So what happens now is that for every invoice line, one of these detail panes is being drawn in the PDF at runtime. So what we can do is I can take the quantity and drag it in here, make it a bit smaller. I could use a table for it as well. Does not really matter. I can now get the track name, drag it in here as well. I'll have the unit price, and I'll have the, did we have a total? Yeah, total price as well. Let's make it a bit smaller. Like this. So it will now print out all items on the invoice, and I can make it smaller now. And if I want to have a total underneath it as well, we can do that the same way by right-clicking this band and say I want to insert a group footer. And here I can drag in the total again. Yeah, but now I'm going to change this because I want to have a summary, which is going to be the sum of this group, like this. I would also like to have a format string because this is a number, but it is currency to be precisely. So I will specify that here as well, the format. And I will do it here as well. All right, so we can put in a whole bunch of more information, whatever we want on the invoice, but let's leave it like it is right now and see how we can show this by saving the report.
Okay.
And we go back to, yeah, where did we go? To the invoices. Yeah, because here I was creating a new extra report, which is basically like an empty report. It's our base reporting thing. And so in fact, instead of doing this, I will now directly use that invoice report, which we just created, because this is that report. Yeah, let's include that. This report, as you can see, let me scroll up to the solution. This is, so here it is. This is the report, but it is a C# class. You see that? So I can just create like an instance of it. And the designer file and the resx file, it will hold some additional information, but it is a class which is derived from extra report. So now I will have this one. And I think that I will need just one extra addition in my main layout, because we need to add a CSS file that comes with the report viewer. but that has changed. So that is now in here. I have copied that um, over. So let me put that in. So, and this is also documented on our documentation side, but we need to have some CSS file included, otherwise the report viewer will look a bit dull, and not everything is you cannot everything see then.
We're not going
Um,
for dull, Don.
yeah, exactly. Well, you can. There are even a couple of buttons like export that you won't be able to see if the CSS is not loaded, so you can't create the PDF. You can look at it, but not what we want.
Nope.
So if I haven't forgotten anything, let's run this baby and see how this works. So here we are. We are back at our super cool application.
Yes, and let's see what
We have
happens.
our invoices and we have the PDF button. You see?
Cool.
Technically, something should happen.
If you click on that.
Yeah. Oh, I've got something for that. Oh no.
Yes. No.
No, it was this one.
Oh.
Let's have a quick check on how that. This is always so not cool because I thought it was gonna go. Let me see the pop-up. Let me first check if the pop-up is going. Preview reports. What was I doing here? Preview reports. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let me snap out to the report viewer to see if at least the pop-up will show up for starters.
Okay.
No, that's
No, nothing happened.
Wait a sec. This will pop up shown. This one should be disabled as well. Yeah, okay. So the pop-up shows. You see?
Yep.
That works. But now we want to have the report viewer in there. So let's put that back in. Check it again. But probably this time I will need to open up my web developer tools to find out what went wrong here. Here is that. I think everything went okay. Or where is the console? Oh, here.
Mm.
No. Huh.
Okay, so it's popping up, but we're missing.
Yeah, it is missing. Oh, yeah, of course. I know. I was just going to start using that reporting thing, but we need to tell the runtime that we want to do something with reporting. So typically nothing was initialized for the whole reporting exercise. So what we need to do is we need to add DevExpress server-side Blazor report viewer like this. And I guess that that will make a difference. I hope.
On a wing and a prayer. Let's see.
Make sure that we reload it. And yeah, this is what I want. Yeah, we're back in business. All right, so that was the viewer, but I obviously disabled some code to check what was going wrong. And the most important thing was this one. So let's do it again. And we're back. And oh, wow. Here is our invoice.
There it is.
Oh, this is a bit. Let me check another one. Yeah, so it's not really like a super exciting invoice, but at least everything is on there. So everything that we put in, all the items are here. It's formatted as dollars in this case. Your date is okay, and the total here is also fine.
Okay.
So yeah, this is typically how quite easy it is to get started with the reporting. That is, I think this has zoomed in a bit. Yeah, yeah. So this is what I wanted to show for this episode, and yeah, I mean you can make your reports as fancy as you want by just going back here. In a real world scenario, you might want to take this report as a starting point and embed the report designer as well. So you
Mm-hmm.
can actually modify this report at runtime. Um, but then you also need to be able to store the report definition somewhere on the server. So that needs a bit more work. But yeah, this is to start with reporting. This is quite straightforward. And I can now just add another control. I was going to add a label. Where's the toolbox? I wanted to add this label here with total amount. Make it bold. Oh, it's already bold. Yeah. And if we go again, after reloading, okay, what happens? It should.
You're looking for a total amount?
Yeah, that was the whole idea.
Hmm.
Maybe I oh, I didn't save it. Yeah, so here's the total amount. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is quite easy to implement, and I mean, obviously, you have been talking with Eric about reporting as well on Thursday, Amanda.
Yeah, we have been.
Yeah, so he has probably shown a whole bunch of more features. This is just a simple thing on how to get it into Blazor, and yeah, get
Cool.
started from here.
All right.
So another feature added to the application.
So we do have a question that popped up on our YouTube stream, Don. It
Yeah,
says, Don, you said there is more work to implement this on WASM,
yeah, correct. Yeah, that I will actually show a page which tells you what to do, and we can go over that quite quickly. Let me Google it up. DevExpress Blazor WASM report viewer, and that will also give you an impression why it is a bit more work. So if you want to go for the pure native report viewer for WebAssembly, you have to do a couple of things because you need I mean, the native report, well, there are a couple of things to consider. I mean, you could have the report processed on the server and then have the processed report sent back to the client. So the server does still do the heavy lifting and the report viewer will show it. But if you want to use the native WebAssembly report viewer, you need to download the fonts that are used. You need to get a whole bunch of assets that are needed for the report into the WebAssembly runtime to get it all going.
Hmm.
And so that is why it is a bit more work. So here you can also start with our Blazor reporting project template. That will make things easier. But if you are already having an existing application, you can follow these steps, and you will need to add some assemblies. You need to use our Skia drawing engine, which is cross-platform for rendering the reports. So you need these packages. So it is quite a bit of work, as you can see. So that's why I decided not to show that in this episode. I mean, if you are definitely interested in this WebAssembly exercise, we can, of course, get back on it. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
But this is in essence, yeah, what needs to be done. And here you need to add the fonts. So you need to deploy them on the server. So it's all in all a bit of work getting this all up and running. You see?
Mhm.
So that's the work for WebAssembly.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for showing us that. Is there any way you could pop that link into the chat or no?
Of course, I guess I can. Let me have a quick check here. I had that checkbox somewhere.
I was trying to type it in, but I gave up.
You know what? I'm just gonna send it over.
Send it to Jeff. Jeff is our behind the
Jeff.
scenes
Jeff is our video
magician.
mastermind. Yeah.
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 He'll take care of it for
And
us.
he will pop it in.
All right. Well, I'm going to give him a sec to pop that in. And there it is. Cool. Thanks, Jeff. So that link that Dom was just showing, or that page, is now in the chat, everybody.
Cool.
All right. Well, if there aren't any more questions, I don't see any have popped up. We have 2 more streams this week. We have a stream tomorrow. We did change the time. It is now at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time instead of 10 a.m. Tomorrow, Wednesday. And then on Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh, we got a thanks,
Cool.
Don. Thank you all for joining us. And we hope to see you at our other streams this week. They're both on YouTube and Twitch. You can join us on either. And I think that wraps this one up. If you haven't already, follow and turn on notifications so you do know when we go live. Anything else, Don? Any nuggets of wisdom?
You have to hit those thumbs on the streams, on the channels, right? So I
Yeah.
would like, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.